Family history blogs. That's the subject of my talk this month. And there are hundreds, if not thousands, of blogs on the internet about family history. And these are really useful tools to follow, have a look at, read, to pick up key techniques and top tips for researching your family history. Many are written by genealogists, professional genealogists like myself, that give you an insight into the techniques they use for researching their family history. So I'm going to take you through the blogs that I wrote in 2017 and encourage you to have a look at those, but also discover other blogs on the internet. A good place to start is to do a search for family history blogs, to think about the magazine you might read or the books you might read, to look for blogs in those publications, to listen to your family history society, to ask others about what they follow and read, and just keep an eye on the internet. Google from time to time, keep an eye on websites that mention blogs. But my blog is quite easy to access. It's on my website at myfamilygenealogy.co.uk/blog. So in 2017 I wrote a total of 10 blogs. The first blog I wrote was regarding social media, and this blog talks about the techniques, why to use social media in your family history research, and the common social media platforms to consider using. A recent survey by Family Tree magazine found that most people use Facebook. Next popular was Twitter, and finally Instagram. And certainly the first two, Facebook and Twitter, will be good places to pick up on genealogists, family historians' blogs. The next blog I wrote was about World War II, and this was around the time of the centenary of the First World War. Sorry, not World War II, the First World War. I'll come to World War II in a minute. And this blog explored a family letter that I inherited and the research I completed to understand the life of my World War I ancestor, Alfred. And this blog gives you useful techniques for researching your First World War ancestors. The next blog I looked at was parish registers, and this is a key resource for any family historian who's researching from 1837 back in time. Of course, you can use parish registers right up to the present day, but they are particularly useful for 1837 and before. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to find your ancestors back to 1538 and the late medieval period. The next one I looked at was the county that I live in, Cambridgeshire, and the types of records that are available in Cambridgeshire. And again, there's another blog I wrote a couple of years ago based on my experience of using Cambridgeshire records. It was also published in Family Tree magazine, so check that one out. The UK Census was another blog, how to access the census and the wider use of the census. You know, we think about using the census for names, occupations, ages, but we can use the census in so many different ways to add colour to our family history. So check out that blog on the census if you're particularly interested in that resource. Electronic family history. We all use the internet. We all use computers for our family history now. So that's a key tool, and being able to use that successfully to find the records for your ancestors, I think is really crucial. And my blog gives you some tips on researching your family history on the internet. And then the final two, which came at the beginning of 2017, were entitled What Stories Might Your Ancestors Tell? And What Other Stories Might Your Ancestors Tell? And these are aimed at the beginner or intermediate genealogist. and give you general tips and techniques across a range of subjects. So there's a wealth of information there. Later in 2016, I also talked about Second World War records, and those are becoming more common on the internet, although because of privacy laws, the key service records for the Second World War are still held by the Ministry of Defence, and you'll need to apply to them to gain access to those records. The British Legion is a good website to have a look at if you're looking to gain access to World War II service records. They have the process, the forms to use for the Ministry of Defence. So let me know what you use, whether you have a blog as well. Pop it into the comments and we can share your blog with others. And also give me a thumbs up if you found this particularly useful today. Have a look at some of my other videos. I'm building up quite a collection now on YouTube across a whole range of subjects on family history. So what stories might your ancestors tell?